Tanya Cooper. Thank you again for joining us this week. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And we're doing a special show having to do with children, since that's what makes us mothers. So we thought that would be special. So my guest tonight is the author of Freddie the Frog, Miss Carol Gravante. And the book is illustrated by Kayleen Felix and edited by Deborah Hoffman. And it was advised on by Dr. Ed Shoemaker. So please welcome the president of L4Kids.org, Miss Carol Gravante. Hi, welcome.
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good.
Nice.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, we had to, because one of the things, like I was telling our viewers, it is Mother's Day. So that's a special, that's a special time. And what I want you to do is, I'm trying to load up something else here while I talk to you. What I want you to do is, I'm trying to load up something here, is tell us about Freddie the Frog, because it's very interesting. You're listening to On the Town. I'm your host, Tanya, and we are with Carol Gravante, and we're discussing Freddie the Frog. So tell us about Freddie the Frog. I saw quite a few things in here. He's rescued by an old lady. Can you tell us just a little brief intro?
Sure. So Freddie is a frog that runs away from the swamp. And he runs because, I don't know if you guys can see my guy behind me.
Oh, good. Oh,
there
great.
he is.
Great.
He's been made into a character, so he can go with me on my speaking engagements, my workshops.
Oh, yeah.
He gets to come along. Oh. And he's a costumed guy, so he can either sit, without any action. But anyway, the storyline happened. What do you do when you feel in your spirit a very loud voice as you're driving down the road and you pass this older woman on the side of the road sitting in her walker, and it's very hot? You know she's out of place, but as you pass her, you hear, stop, she has a story. Mm-hmm. And I don't stop, but every day I'm passing the same lady as I come back from the high school. Now, we hosted 25 foreign exchange students over a period of about 12 years. Mm-hmm. And 13 of them went to high school. So as I passed her, I hear, stop, she has a story, 5 different days in a row. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe she's hot and needs a drink. Mm-hmm. So I stopped, and lo and behold, it wasn't her, but it was her little dog that was tired. Mm-hmm. But come to find out, what she was doing was reading a little book. Mm-hmm. And the book was explaining to her her way to heaven, and she didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that was her story. But what I come to find out after we walked and talked forever, and she met Jesus, fears disappeared, and she got baptized at age 90, and it was miraculous. I found out there was a different story. There was a different story that God had in mind. So upstairs, I had a big frog from Disney, and he was just sitting on the bed, and I didn't know I was in preparation to actually adopt my own kids. I had no idea, but you can look back 30 years to figure out the step by step by step by step to where I am today. Now have adopted 2 new sons, and now I have 5.
Aw, God bless you.
And in the process, God wanted to help the orphans. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to help the foster children and write a story about a frog. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know Eleanor particularly collected frogs. Mm-hmm. She also adopted 2 of her children, mm-hmm. and she adopted all her dogs. And she did have a faith legacy story to tell. Mm-hmm. And in the journey of hearing, while I'm in the kitchen, in my spirit, I hear, give your frog to Eleanor, he's lonely. I argue with that thought, I like him. But then I grab him, and we go on our daily walk. It was trash day. And I heard another instruction, put the frog by the trash can. This is a significant adoption story. Start taking pictures. It's going to raise money for adoptions. Now, I don't know that it's, my creator, that's actually speaking to me, because he loves his orphans at this point, because I come up with crazy stories too. But I know eventually that when the story starts to come into my spirit in rhyme, then I know it's him. And it becomes a beautiful book. Look, I don't know if you can see it.
I see Eleanor.
You see
Is it based on a real person? That's what I want to know.
It is a true story.
Okay.
Everything in this book, Freddie the Foster Frog, is about everything that she says basically is what she says. She was raised by a mama who said, don't be a crybaby, so stop. And she just thought she had to hold in what was her hard lot. And there's
I see there was abuse and poverty, it said.
It was what?
There was abuse.
Yes.
Oh.
What happened is actually the frog I had upstairs, there was an accident when I was nannying some kids who were adopted, and they threw my big Disney frog off my big loft, and it broke his eye. That was supposed to happen because I realized in this story, Freddie was supposed to have a bad eye because his dad, that's what happened to him, is his dad heard him and he ran away. And he ended up hiding behind Eleanor's trash can in the story. And so I made, well, under inspiration, I can't take any of the credit. God wrote a story about this frog and how he heals from God's love through Eleanor. And then there's all sorts of other characters there. I don't know if you can see this guy.
Yeah.
This is Finn the Hedgehog. He also has a story. His dad was verbally abusive, and then his mom died, and they became homeless.
Oh, so there's a bunch of characters basically you've created.
There are many characters. This guy.
For the dog?
Well, he's Rex.
Rex.
And Rex. And all of these animals actually belonged to Eleanor, which is really cool. So, yeah. And, right. And, so Rex's story is that his parents were addicted to drugs. He was a very angry child, and he learned how to lie, cheat, and steal. And he also got addicted to drugs, and he ended up in Eleanor's home and learned the value of love and how love could heal him. He learned that he could run as an outlet. He learned to become a runner. And he...
well, I want to know how Eleanor was able to assume the role of motherhood with her dealing with her abuse. Had she went to therapy, or what happened with her?
Eleanor was raised by a very harsh woman.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, did she end up going to therapy? Like, how did she get to this point where she was able to take in things and people and help them out? You know what I'm saying? Because for you to heal, you have to go through something, and there's a process that goes with it. So I was just wondering what her process was.
Well, when her husband left her with the two children, her parents, the harsh one, took over the care of the two children, and she was forced to go out and figure out something better than cleaning houses. And she got a job, worked her way up in the world, became an EMT, and I think life just kind of spun, and over time she was fighting to be grateful and fighting to be, totally healed. But I don't really believe she did until she met Jesus at age 90. And so, because she still had a lot of fears, a lot of phobias, a lot of things. Of
course. I mean, that's any child that grows up in a traumatizing household, that would be a very, very likely thing. So that's why I was wondering, in case a kid ever asks you, what did Eleanor do? Because a lot of people say they found Jesus or found God, and they can still find him, but if they haven't done the work, it won't matter that they found him, because they still have mental illness stuff that they have to deal with, and physical, especially when you have kids that age, of the age you were abused, they can start acting it out. They can be ignorant of it happening to their kids because they're blocking it out. But there's a lot of different psychosis that go on. I minored in psychology. There's a lot of different things that go on. But I was just curious, did this particular woman get help, or did she just find God? And you turned your camera off for a minute there?
No, I'm sorry. Somebody
I was just wondering.
Got a call. Sorry.
Okay. I was just wondering if she found, not just found God, but she also did the work. There's work to do mentally to get through all of that, so that you don't project that into your future, which is your children. So
I really don't know.
Okay,
to be honest, I think she ended up having to work through a lot of it by creating a gratitude journal.
That's nice. That's a good way. That's one way. There's plenty of ways. It doesn't have to be therapists. And sometimes I've seen people have found religion and that helped them because they don't know it, but they are processing in little ways. Like learning if they want to learn forgiveness or if they want to learn how to move forward after trauma. And there's so many ways religion can help, and I think it helps most people. But some people use it as a crutch, and has not helped them at all. For instance, when you have priests who are molesting little boys. I mean, what's that? They believe in God, right? They do all the communions and everything else, but they don't really believe in God because, so that's where I'm going with that. I personally have friends who were, I'll just say it wasn't good for them clergy. Let's put it that way. So they're not big on that. I'm big on that because my foster mother was a minister. So I'm very big on the church and all that stuff, but I understand and I always advocate that not all people that say they believe in God really do the actual work of God. They think they do, but they're not. So I was just wondering.
Well, that actually, now that you say that, she told me the story of the years before when she really was hurt by the church and her mom. And her dad was a really good guy, but couldn't seem to protect her. And so she actually determined to quit the church and become agnostic. Yeah. And that's when her second husband had died, didn't know where he was going. She looked up to the heavens and said, I don't know who you are, but if you exist, show me what I need to know. And then she became a vegetarian. She started exercising. She wanted to live to be 100 so she could live long enough to find out where she was going. Wow. And that's when God called me over to the side, from the side of the road, talk to her. She needs to know me. And she did meet him, and wow. She had such great assurance now. How
long did she live? Is she still alive?
93. No, 93. About a year and just over a year ago, she went to be with her Lord. Yep.
Hey, that's okay. She outlived most of us these days. But that's also good that one of the things that she was able to learn something from the children, and they were able to learn something from her. That's the beauty of it. And I saw you had your purposes, to inspire students, the creative writing. There's so many elements to this that I thought was amazing, especially encouraging adults to help the children, to teach empathy, it said, and unify all the advocates so that they can be on one page. That's awesome. And what else? You said playing community unity opportunities to help the kids, to help the kids. Most important,
right? We are having the nation actually create these little frogs.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get him on there. He's actually a superhero.
Oh.
And Freddie the foster frog is a superhero, turning tragedy into triumph.
Yes. And
he has a little superhero cape.
That's cute. That needs to be a super animation for kids. That's what that should be.
It's a wonderful way to give away. I give away the books to the foster and adoptive children with the frog that they actually color on their own. Let's see. Can you see? I colored on the
yes.
The outfit. So when the children
the San Francisco Bridge, but I see it.
I didn't realize it was going to be that distracting. But anyway, when you color and make your own, make your frog your own, it becomes much more special. And then they squeeze it and they adopt it, because in this book, almost every other sentence is something to talk about. It opens up conversation that the children need to work through. The introduction is the most important part. As again, in my spirit, I said before I went to bed, please talk to me. You've already told me it's a fable now. It's social emotional learning curriculum. Right. I need to know more. And I woke up 3 different times with what became the introduction. It is almost verbatim from him. This fabled story with a twist of rhyme is something you'll not often find. Animals and rhymes are used to create a very safe place to explore deep emotions and seek God's grace. To safely look through a troubled past, we highly suggest you not go very fast. The slower you go and the deeper you dig, those hurting splinters are big like a twig. It's much easier with animals and rhyme to recall painful memories one at a time.
Wow.
This is a fabled story about Freddie, the frog with a troubled life, and how kind old Eleanor saved him from further strife. While reading this story, you might find yourself wandering down your own rabbit trail. So let the story lead you so God's plan can prevail. As memories arise, you can heal from the past and become free from pain that doesn't have to last.
That's brilliant. Very brilliant. And you
And
wrote that too?
I'm sorry?
You wrote that as well? That piece?
Again, I don't take any credit. This came to me, no kidding, 3 different wake-ups, exactly verbatim. As I wake up, there's a space of time before you wake up and then you know you're not asleep and you're hearing words in your spirit.
Keep speaking.
And when I hear these words, like that, for example, I heard verbatim the first parts. The editor put in the part about Freddie and Eleanor, and then I hear on the 3rd wake up, rabbit trail. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? You know, and then he filled in the blank. And then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is a lot more than I thought it was. I knew it was going to help children, but I didn't realize it truly was therapy. And Dr. Ed Shoemaker has created the 12-week program that all therapists, all psychologists can use. And
1 second, sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
So Dr. Ed Shoemaker has written the curriculum and the workbook, and I've already been doing workshops, and the effect has been amazing. For example, a 16-year-old girl wouldn't talk to him, being adopted, but wouldn't talk for 8 months. But now all of a sudden, he reads the first chapter and she starts to cry, as even adults cry. I mean, it's for everybody, okay? So everybody cries, but she cried and started to talk about her hurt and all the pain. And it's having that effect with everybody. And I didn't write this. This is all God, really. I worked hard at sometimes with Rhyme Zone and all of that. And that was the part that got pulled out. It didn't turn out good. It wasn't important. But there's so much to talk about because kids need, and Freddie does go to counseling and he does go to group teen support and, you know, that kind of thing. It tells his sad story. It talks about Eleanor a lot and what she's going through. That's why it reaches the parents. You know, he has so many things that happen to him. Like at one point, he's trying to decide whether or not to talk to Eleanor when she finds him. And she, I'm trying to, so Eleanor, he naturally felt guilty and a little ashamed and wrongfully thought he was to blame. There's an awful lot to talk about there.
Oh yeah, blame is a big one. Blame and shame.
It is.
Blame and
shame. Blame and shame.
Yeah. And
so when you can stop, you don't just read through, you don't bust through the story, you stop and you talk as you read it. And you let those memories arise as little rabbit trails.
Right.
And as you think about your own memories, and then you look and you see how Freddie was able to heal. This is only book 1. There's probably 6 or 7 or 8 books coming. Book number 2 is getting illustrated right now. And Freddie actually gets adopted in that story, but he has so many upheaval of emotion during that time of, you know, Eleanor asking him to adopt him, and he's excited and then he's scared, and then he's excited and then he's scared, and you know, there's so much going on in his mind.
That's that the kids I think what about you know, the fact that this is good to encourage kids to read more, especially kids in foster care. I once had an agency ask me to donate books, and I was like, sure. So I donated like 200 books. I don't know, because my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law is a writer, so I was able to get some books. But you know, this is a great way to encourage kids to read, because that's becoming a thing now where it's like, oh, how are we getting them to do this? Maybe since quarantine they've gone back, but that was a hard thing after video games. So maybe you could do like a book tour and go around.
Do a what?
A book tour. Sorry. My dog heard your dog.
And my dog.
And you are listening to On the Town. That is Duke in the background and Carol's dog having a conversation So it happened.
On the town.
Well, you want to hear something funny? I mean, not to get off the record, we're still talking about Freddie the Frog. I was watching the TV the other day, and a news reporter was broadcasting for CBS channel. And the daughter came in, and somebody was like, said, "Daddy, I want my Baba." And he was like, "Okay, honey." And this is too coming up to live with Television News. Oh my God! So dogs are an exception to the rules. That's fine.
So the door is shut, but it doesn't matter with a German Shepherd.
Nope. I was gonna say, sounds like a shepherd. That's it.
Yeah,
See?
he's a beautiful shepherd that was given to us again by God to help our whole family at adoption time. And it was wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I just know that I'm looking for corporations to donate boxes of books.
Okay, and where do they find you at? Where can people find you?
At my website, it's L for Kids, so E-L, which is what we called Eleanor, but it's also God's first name, which is cool. Okay. And so E-L, number 4, KIDS.org.
So we got that.
And you,
L for the number 4, kids, KIDS.org. Okay.
Yes, and you can email me at info@lforkids.org.
Info@lforkids.org.
That would be the best way. I'm still working on my website, trying to get the donate button working, but I need advice.
The paste and stuff, right? It's such a nuisance.
It's a nuisance. I have no idea how to do it, but I'm going to work on that.
You're going to work on it. You know what? Just Google everything. That's what the kids tell me. Google it. It'll show you. Mom, YouTube it. YouTube it. It'll tell you.
Yeah. But I have a corporate sponsorship package I can send anybody who's interested in helping, because I buy the books, but I give them away.
Yes. So, well, I can tell you as a former teacher assistant, working with kids, that it has a lot of great purposes. I saw your purposes, to inspire students through creative writing, to encourage the adults to help the children, to teach empathy, which is very important, especially in today's world, unity, to unify all the advocates, so people that want to be helping, this is a great way to unify them, plan community, unity opportunities to help the kids, and to read out loud, encouraging families, which is very important. So Carol Gravante, we thank you so much for sharing Freddie the Frog with us. And, again, if anybody wants to reach her, you can go to the website, el4kids.org, or you could go to her website, not her website, email, and reach her there. And you can also reach us at on the town with Tanya at gmail.com. Just write us, and if you're not sure, inbox me on the Facebook, no problem. I'll tell you her information. And we thank you so much, Carol, for joining us. And let's see a picture of the book one more time.
Okay.
There we go. Yay! Freddie the Frog. There we go. Thank you very much. So you guys know where you can pick it up. And thank you so much, Carol, for joining us. And we'll talk to you shortly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everything you do.
Yes. Come back when you do the second book as well.
All righty.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.